Welcome back to part 2 of last week's episode. Let's go!
Sometimes I go again, like, it's just like, dude, why? Like, for example, when, like, Linda's just those are your teachers, you know that, right? And I'm like, yeah, you're right. So it's just like, yeah, like,
oh, yeah. You got sometimes you got to bring it here, maybe later.
Yeah.
When you don't need them anymore, you can.
When you don't need your grade anymore.
Yeah,
your grade's already there.
When you graduate, like, you can't be trying to fight them now, or not physically fight, but argue with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they have the pen and the authority, even though they said they can't.
Supposedly, yes.
Supposedly.
So what is the lesson?
Pick and choose your battles. I'm just kidding. But stand up for yourself.
Stand up for yourself.
But pick and choose your battles.
And then just also stand up for yourself, like, wisely. No violence.
Violence is not the answer. It's never the answer.
No.
Even if you are in the right.
Yeah.
Violence is not the answer.
It's just not the answer.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So we want to go back to back to high school.
Oh, for the other story.
Yeah. So what do you remind me? Like, what story do you have for me?
The dance class story.
Yeah.
Me and you barely talked during that time, I believe.
Class? Probably.
I think so.
Probably, yeah. I don't.
Yeah,
remember.
I just remember seeing
much.
you and Bonnet. That's it. But we didn't really interact, basically.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Because they were like this.
Vanessa.
Yeah.
That's my twin.
Yeah.
Yes. And I just remember we were practicing. Everybody that was there in that class, they were there because they did not want to do PE.
Yes, let's stress that.
Let's be real.
Let's stress this is high school as well.
This is high school.
Yeah.
And let's stress the fact that we did not go to like a performing arts school. This is just a regular, poor Catholic high school.
Emphasis on the poor.
Yeah.
Very. So we were, sophomores?
Freshmen.
Even worse,
in the freshman year, yeah.
So it was very like normal. It wasn't like this with this dance class. It depended our whole like career.
Yeah, we just did not want to do PE.
Yeah,
no one ever wants to
physically
do
run outside PE. Yeah,
no
one. That's why I did dance class.
Yes,
I can barely dance, but I'm like, I'm gonna do dance class.
I was at Bishop Wooddown and all these people were athletes. Imagine PE,
girl. I can't imagine.
Yeah, I know.
Jasmine walking in the back like, wait for
me,
guys.
They're all athletes.
They are, dude.
Great.
They're all fit.
Yeah, I know.
Anyways,
you gotta be like this. You gotta be like, yeah,
sorry. So then, I remember, and then I didn't know what was going on with Linda.
My life. She didn't know my life story.
But I knew something was wrong because her whole, like, even you probably couldn't tell, but I was able to tell, like, something was wrong because your demeanor changed. Like, you changed.
I can see that. No, I can see that.
I bet it did change.
No, yeah.
Yeah. So then, she was really working us hard. And the room that we were doing, like, the dances, it was very warm. So we were, like, sweating or something. And we were in uniform. Like, we didn't have no, like, PE attire, anything, just uniform.
Yeah, just a regular clothes.
Like
regular khaki pants, whatever pants we had, and a polo shirt.
So y'all didn't change out of that?
No.
I don't think so.
That's nasty.
Yeah. It is nasty. When you're high school, you don't be
No, dude, I used to work.
We weren't running outside.
No.
I'm not talking about PE. PE, they made you, like,
they made you shower
and stuff. We're talking about, like, the dance classes.
You still sweat.
Yeah, but it was probably hot that day.
It was hot that day,
We weren't sweating all the damn time. Half of the times it was just free.
Okay, you're not nasty. Jeez.
Yeah.
So then we were, like, she was talking about, like, I think it was like a rehearsal or presentation that we were going to do.
Because at the end of the year, we were supposed to, like, as a final grade, we're supposed to do, like, a performance. Like, where the parents come, your family and friends.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Linda was not, I think you were not able to make it.
I wasn't going to,
like, you just straight up stated, like, I'm not going to. No. She was very clear. She, like, I remember you told her, like, right there and then, like, I'm not going to.
In front of everybody?
Yeah.
I guess she heard it was in front of everybody.
And then that's when she keeps saying something about like a 10-page paper.
Yeah. So let me go back a little bit. Okay. So our dance class, I'm not going to say any names.
No.
Our dance class teacher was a teacher that, she was the type of teacher that wanted to be friends of the student. Mm-hmm. So, during break, students would go there and kiki and all of that. She was like that type of teacher that wanted to be friends with the students. Mm-hmm. So during that time, freshman year, that's when my mom was diagnosed with cancer and was in a hospital. So a lot of the times during that year, I would be in the hospital, go back to school. Like, that was my life. And she knew that. Like, she had my phone number and would like text me like, oh, like for updates, like, oh, how's your mom, how's this, how's that. So she knew my life. Like I didn't tell like the principal like or the school, like I never made it like a big deal like with the school, but she knew because again she was like the type of teacher
close
that
to students,
the close to
Yeah.
the students. So I
Yeah.
wanted to be close to the students, so she knew like I was going in and out the hospital. Like I was in the hospital with my mom and then go to school like the next morning. And I literally told her, I was like, hey, I don't know why my voice is getting a little cracky. I'm trying to keep it together. So I texted her. I was like, hey, like, no, I didn't text her. So the performance, I said, there's no way I'm gonna do this performance. I have way too much going on.
But just now that you say that I feel like she should have known better because she keep the thing is that the thing that make you, I feel like that explode basically is because you keep pressing you about
in front of
it.
everybody.
Yeah, in front of everybody. And then Linda like flipped.
Yeah.
And then she walked away.
My
She
breaking
walked
point.
out and Brenda walked out and I'm like,
And the thing is too, like obviously she has this insight that everyone else doesn't have,
Doesn't
and
know.
so like
Right.
even if she was gonna press you, like let me talk to her in private.
right. And then
Yeah.
even when she was pressing, I was looking, I'm like, why don't you wait until after class and talk to her separately? But she just keep doing it in front of everybody. And if she knew all these
So Linda's like,
background-
you want to do this here?
Yeah. And it's crazy because I never like even hearing, oh my god,
Hearing that,
yeah.
you don't
Oh
even
my God.
remember it like that.
No, because
Yeah,
basically Kathy is like telling her view.
yeah.
But I never like noticed like everyone else's like
Right.
view of like the situation.
You thought it was just you and her kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Whew.
No, yeah, she definitely should have
Yeah.
pulled you to the side, especially knowing all that
And
that's
she's
going
an
on in your
adult.
life. Exactly. Like
And that's
and you were a teenager.
yeah, that's one thing I've noticed growing up. It's like age does not equal maturity.
No.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
a lot of times like, oh, they're adults, they should know better, but
They don't
a lot
know.
of times they don't.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No, and honestly, I mean, even me being an adult, there's a lot of times where I'm like, damn, girl,
I
you
didn't, I,
you
yeah.
didn't have to handle it like that.
Yeah, sometimes I was like, dang, I don't act 31. I act more like 21.
Oh my
But going back, so she knew everything that was going on. And when I told her, like, hey, I cannot do the performance, she was like, well, everyone here, they have to do like a dance performance. So, because, you know, it's not fair for everyone else. Mind you, again, she knew my situation.
Yeah.
She was like, well, since you can't do the performance, you have to do a 15-page paper. So I was like, okay, whatever. I'll do the paper. Mind you, the paper was like 80% plagiarized. I used my citation, but the paper was like 80% plagiarized.
Oh.
In the sense that the other 20%, like I wrote, but I used citations, but the 80% was the citations and everything else.
Mhm.
So I had turned in the paper and she was like, you plagiarized this whole paper, da 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 da, like you're gonna fail. She said something around those lines, and like that pissed me off because first of all, I shouldn't even have to do a paper.
She should have cut you some slack. Like she knew better. She should have been like, take this period to decompress or go outside or I don't know. I feel like me as a teacher,
Something.
I would tell you, go do you. Like who cares about
I will
your
definitely
thing?
say she could have handled that a lot better.
Yeah.
So when she had told me that, she was like making it such a big deal. I was like, yeah, you're gonna fail the class, da 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 da. Like you plagiarized the paper. I was like, well, yeah, I kind of plagiarized it, but I did use citation, so. So she was like, yeah. So we're going back and forth, and I said some words I probably shouldn't have ever said. So I said, should I say the words? I don't care. So I said, F you, bitch.
Yep.
And then
And she walked out.
I walked out and went straight to and slammed
In front of
the
her?
door and slammed, yeah.
Yeah,
wow.
and then Vanessa followed after they slammed the door.
Yeah, and
Vanessa
she- yeah.
followed.
That's a
And I-
friend right
And
there.
she was even threatening Vanessa. It was like,
Yeah.
if you leave,
Yeah.
you're gonna be in trouble. Da 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 da.
on.
Vanessa was like,
I
no,
don't
like
care.
that's my friend.
Oh
Yeah.
my god. Okay, I will say this: her knowing what you're going through and
was
knowing
not
that you
right.
need a friend at that moment and trying to threaten Vanessa is honestly abusing her
It
authority.
wasn't right.
She was
It
using
wasn't
it.
right.
And you can tell she wasn't like right in the head too, because there is some times where I would like talk about like my situation, like, oh my god, I'm getting therapy. This is another therapy session I'm gonna have with my therapist because I'm getting like super
It's okay.
emotional.
It's okay. You know what I like about our podcast is we share
Oh my god.
our real emotions and what we're going through and what we've been. we're not perfect.
Yeah.
We're not perfect.
Life be life over
Yeah.
here. It's a part of life.
Yeah.
And it unfortunately, like, I have to experience life at a young age.
Yeah.
But even then, like, prior to that situation, I stopped telling her things because I would say something. And I remember I told her, like, oh, like, they had to resuscitate my mom. She's like, oh, did you cry? It's like, I literally just told you that. She's like, oh, did you cry? And, like, made it like a joke. And I'm looking at her, I was like, what do you mean? Like, that's how she was. And so
that is sick.
From then, like, I didn't have, like, no type of respect for her.
That's so wrong.
Yeah, like, I do not, like, you say, like, you don't like a person, I do not like a person.
I'm kind of in shock. I'm not gonna lie right now when you said that.
I feel like that's sick. That is not right. Like, why would you?
Just don't say that.
No.
Yeah. Literally, like I said, she was texting me while I was in the hospital with my mom a lot of the times. So anyway, so when I stormed to the office and, like, the principal, that's why a lot of students, like, had some type of feeling, like, they didn't like Sister.
Oh, no, I love Sister. She helped me get through certain lists because I was poor as hell. My parents would not pay tuition, and she would keep me in there.
Yeah, like, she found a way to help her students.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, so Sister was, like, a little nun. We had nuns at our school.
Yeah.
But she was honestly, like, the sweetest little old lady, in a sense, because when I went to the office, she was like, what's wrong? Like, why are you here? Because, again, I wasn't a person that got in trouble.
Yeah.
No.
She was like, why are you here? And then I told her everything. Like, my mom was in a hospital, how the dance teacher made me write a 15-page paper.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God. I'm getting so emotional.
And I'm just, like, that's, I'm sorry you had to deal with that, because that's not something that, like, I feel like your school is there, obviously, for academics, but, like, they're supposed to be supportive of whatever you're going through. Obviously, whatever you're going through is going to affect your academics. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's a dance class.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if it was, like, a regular class, still, it's a freaking dance class. This is not a performing arts sport. I'm not trying to go to Juilliard or whatever those low prestige
like
artsy
school. Yeah. And then I feel like that's what made Sister right to be our principal for our school, because we were in a neighborhood where we were kids that we were going through it.
We were in Fruitvale. Like, they're saying, like, we couldn't wear certain colors and stuff.
Yeah.
The whole shooting at the BART station.
They made a whole movie about it.
Yeah. And then she always, I feel like she was the right, well, for me, she was the right principal because she was always able to understand your side and their side. You know what I'm saying? Like, there were people that would, like, sell, like, weed and all that stuff. Students. And then she would be like, she wouldn't kick them out. She would talk to them.
Yeah, like, what's going on at home?
Yes.
Let me figure out.
And I feel like she was the right principal for that school.
And she was like a little white lady. Like, she in that, you can tell that she really cared for her.
Yeah.
Her like, the students and running the school.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, like, I told her all of this. She was like, no, like, that is not okay. And then she talked to the dance teacher and said, you know, like, that's not okay. Like, I don't know, like, fully what went on with that conversation, but she was like, no. She was like, you don't even have to do your homework if you don't want to. Like, you're going through so much. You have to explain to the dance teacher. She was like, yeah, because the dance teacher even says, like, well, she's coming to school, and the principal is like, this is her escape. Like, what do you mean? Like, just because she's coming to school, like, everything is fine. Crazy.
She said that?
Oh, hell no, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like, she's coming to school, but don't you see her? Isn't she telling you what she's going through? What do you mean?
That's insane. Well, I hope this taught her something. I don't know that it did, but I really hope it did.
I don't know.
I don't think so, because even, like, after the situation, it was like, it was weird. I feel like I don't think I've ever gotten an apology from her. It was just like me avoiding her. Like, I never took dance class again. I was just
I think it was canceled after, like, that year or two, like, sophomore. Remember they took it off? Like,
I hope they fire her.
Yeah.
But yeah, because even Sister Liam, like, a super supportive. So that was a very dark time in my life, and it's crazy how, to bring it back, how Kathy would say, like, that's what she remembered me as, like, that situation, but then not knowing, like, what was going on. It was like an outsider looking in and not.
Were you like, what is going on?
Yeah, what is going on? Because, okay, so to bring it back a bit, like, for the beginning of freshman year, it was me, Didi, and then we tried to make, like, we were, like, eating lunch and everything, so I did interact a little bit with Linda.
Yeah, so, I remember her little crutches coming in.
So I remember Linda being always, like, upbeat, and I'm sorry, upbeat and nice, but just
You just
going-
knew that was not like normal. for
Yeah,
her.
because it was just like she was very nice. I could tell she was very polite. And then for her to just flip out like that, and then for her to flip out like that, and also for her whole demeanor to change throughout as the days pass by. Again, I never ask because I'm not one to meddle in people's businesses. Like if you come and tell me, you come and tell me. But if I see you, I'm not gonna go ask because I don't know what is going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
And I was small, so
Yeah.
even if you tell me, I'm like, I wouldn't even know how to like.
Yeah, we handle it. Everybody,
No,
yeah.
we were
Yeah.
young. We were in
Yeah.
high school.
Yeah, dude, that was a depressing, like having your mom
No,
pass
no.
away in high
If-
school.
if I'm being
small
honest,
high school. Oh my god.
If I'm being
No.
honest, like I know this episode isn't really about that, but like
It can be. This is gonna be a second part.
Okay, no, I do remember. Like, I remember a specific time when we were driving to Six Flags, and you were there with us. It was you, me, and maybe Vanessa. I think.
Yeah, seriously, I don't know.
We were driving, and like you looked like you were there, but you weren't there.
Damn.
You looked like you were there, but you weren't there, and I was like, "Is she okay? Like, what's going on?" Like, I was like,
It makes me so sad.
it does make me sad
Yeah.
because I remember being like, you didn't say anything to me, and we didn't know. We didn't know
Yeah.
anything that was going on at all. And I think we did ask you what was going on, and that's when you finally told us. But I remember being like, there's definitely something wrong with her. Like, this is not her. She's not normally like this. And that's when you broke down and told us. And it gave me a different perspective.
Yeah, because like it was like then you felt like I felt like there
It
was
just
like
wasn't
a
the
flip.
person.
Yeah, like
yeah.
she was just like
yeah.
like gloomy. I don't want to say fucked up, but you were
Yeah,
like
just say what
gloomy,
you
like
feel.
It is
like,
what it is, yeah.
like down, like something was going on, but I couldn't put my finger on what was going on, and obviously I wasn't gonna ask her.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, like I could tell something, and then even me, and then that's what like honestly it infuriates me that even me that I didn't know anything about your situation
And a child.
and a child, I could tell that something was going on, and the adult in the situation was not able to behave up to standards and was not able to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Like that really pisses me off.
Yeah, it kind of makes me sad. And then now, like looking back too, I even then, like I know, like then back then it was like I was like in a very very dark place, but I guess I was showing the darkness as well because even and I think I mentioned it on this episode or not this episode, like the prior episode. It was like even Miss Brim, who was like our religion teacher, she literally went to the school therapist and said like, hey, I have a student that, you know, like something's going on, like can you please talk to her? Like she took that step, and even though I was planning to go to the therapist myself eventually, but she even like did what she had to
that's
do.
how your the
dance
other
teacher
one should
should
have
have.
been.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And all the other teachers were very supportive because like once I told Sister, which is the principal, she told everyone, and like they're making like accommodations for me. Some teachers like, you don't even have to worry about taking that test, like you deal like with your like personal life. Like they were literally all supportive,
And that's
except
what it
that
should
one.
be. Like I've seen things where they're like, "Oh, you can't take the test right now. Don't worry, we'll figure out something later." Later,
Mhm.
even if it's not taking the test, like if it's still making you take the test, but not during this time, maybe pushing it, whatever. Like just being more flexible with whatever is going on in your life. I think that's what someone should be able to do. You know, during difficult times.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and that's probably another reason why my trust problems. Like I keep things to myself.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me to open up to people.
So do you think that is kind of like a reason why you may feel that way?
I believe
that probably contributed to it.
Yeah.
Like not just that situation. There's been many situations, but that's like another like situation that added on to like, oh, you can't tell everyone like
everything
because some people will pretend to be there for you and support you, but in reality they're not.
That makes
and
sense.
Unfortunately, I had to like learn that at a young age.
Yeah.
Because you would think she was literally like the only person besides Vanessa that knew what was going on, that she would have been supportive, but in a sense made my life even more hell.
Yeah, I made it more difficult when it shouldn't be like it's a dance class.
It's a dance class.
You were a freshman. Like there were so many things that it could have.
It could have been different.
Better. Yeah, it could have been handled better.
Yeah, it should have been handled better. But it's crazy how like now I've never heard like your point of view. I didn't know I was walking around looking like a depressed bean.
She was an emo kid.
Girl, I was an emo kid in high school.
Yeah.
And that's like a whole nother thing too. It's just, it was like uncomfortable too. It's like another, like I said, I don't
you were in a different world than everyone else. Like you were in a different world.
Yeah. And mind you, my high school is very, very small. Like I said, it's in our class, it was only like 40 students.
Mm-hmm.
The whole school total is only about 230.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like we're being the kid walking around that the mom is in the hospital dying, and literally everybody knowing your business. I remember, because the morning they'll do like morning announcements where over the intercom they're like, oh, pray for so and so, pray for Linda's mom.
Yeah, they did.
They were like praying for my mom like every day, every day, and then I'm just sitting there like, oh my god.
Can I ask you something?
What?
Was that like something you wish they wouldn't have done?
Maybe when I wasn't there. Like, I appreciate them doing it because we went to a religious school, so of course they're gonna pray.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just feel like that just puts all the, because I know how we are. And that just puts all the attention on you.
And I do not like attention.
And we don't like that. And
no.
so, I mean, it's very nice for them to have done that, but I'm like, no.
Like, it's too much.
Yeah.
And then I even remember Dee Dee. That's why I love Dee Dee so much and love her family. I'm getting emotional, but I really do.
It's okay.
Because even Dee Dee, like, she's always there, super supportive. I mean, I remember flipping on Dee Dee one day, and she was like, oh, like, she was like, well, sorry, like, I didn't know. Because, you know, she was like, was being like too overly
too much.
Just too much. I'm like, stop. Like, I'm trying
and
to
you're not like that at all.
No, I'm like, I'm trying to walk around like everything is okay.
Yeah.
And I keep bringing it up.
Yeah.
So that was the reason why, like, I flipped on the dance teacher. Not because I'm like a reckless
Not
teenager.
because it's her personality, who she is. It's just you were going through something.
Yeah, and then that's why I said it when I'm like, she's very nice.
Yeah.
And then very
girl, but at that moment you had said she had blah 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 blah. She had
but
blah,
I
blah, blah.
said she was very nice.
Then she's making me sound like super ghetto. Like, I'm just this ratchet
But I
ass
said she
girl.
was kind of nice. If you push her, she
Kinda
will push
nice.
back.
Oh yeah, I will push back. Like, that's the thing. Like I said, I'm reactive. It's like, I don't go. Like, I don't like confrontation. I don't like starting things. I don't even like people making people feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, like I said, I will protect myself.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
As you should, boo. As you should.
As I should. I was like, this is something to have a conversation with my therapist, because it's making me have all types of emotion. Like, I'm getting hot right now.
But I think that's normal. I just think
it is.
Like,
normal.
we went back to some really, like, I think
dark times.
dark and emotional times for you.
Yeah.
Like, I think when we went back probably to your lowest point in your life, so like it makes sense why you would get emotional.
That's what I was gonna say. I think I trauma blocked a lot from my past. Like, I blocked some stuff out because it was funny because recently, my mom's death. Oh my god. The anniversary of my mom's death, like, just like passed like back in May. But for some reason, like, me, my sister, my brother, we can never, like, every year we don't know the actual day. Like, we'll say, like, I'll say, like, oh, she passed on the 25th. My sister Coco was saying, no, she died on like the 26th, and my brother's like, no, she died on the 27th.
You guys are all different.
All black. We trauma block. We basically blocked
that day
off, and it's like, oh shoot. And then, because literally every time we're like,
and it's crazy how your brain works, because when you try to remember, and it's like you blacked, like when have you ever blacked out when you get drunk?
No, I never blacked out.
Have you ever blacked out when you get drunk?
Yeah.
Okay, don't you know, like, when you're like try to really remember, but your mind can't, like, you can't.
Or like you'll remember bits and pieces,
but you don't remember the whole thing.
Yeah.
No, and then that's what I'm like. I find crazy. Now that you talk about it, how the brain, like, how the brain works.
The brain is
right?
amazing. Yeah.
The brain
just
is
like
crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. And then you really try, and even if, like, in this case, obviously you were not intoxicated, you were going through the motions, but it's just like,
she was intoxicated with emotion.
Yeah, but
with
then
trauma.
It's crazy how, like, the brain reacts the same as if you were blacked out. Like, it blocks that, and it's hard because for me, there was a situation that I had, like, back in the day, and my therapist asked me about it, and I couldn't remember, and I'm like, I don't know, and then she's like, but during that time, I'm like,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, some people literally would lose like a whole year of their life.
And I'm like, why can't? And I get frustrated with myself because I'm like, why can't you remember like what happened? And then it's weird.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that we were talking about it.
It is crazy because I remember a whole lot, but for some reason
you remember you have really good memory for certain things, but then for other things it's like I don't know.
Yeah, no, I feel like I remember everything during that time, but for some reason like dates, I guess the dates and stuff, it's very odd. And literally this past, I was like, I think we all trauma blocked that day because it's like there's no reason why like all three of you
have
do
different
not
days.
know.
Yeah.
Like you do not know. I was like, that's so crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
And I put two and two together. I was like, I think we all literally trauma blocked this day out for some odd reason.
I'm not gonna lie, I would trust him.
He was off. The only one that knew like the actual day was Coco.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so she was right.
She was right. But she didn't know. She was like, I think. Like I don't know. Is it
like I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Because it was by Memorial Day, so that's all we know. It's like it's around Memorial Day, but Memorial Day changes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So does it change?
I think.
I don't know if the day changed.
The week of the day, like
I don't know.
It might.
But it's always around. It's always Memorial Day because that's when she died. She died either like the day before Memorial Day or the day after Memorial Day.
Oh, that's why it's confusing for you guys because it's a holiday.
Mm-hmm.
She died. She saw Memorial Day.
Yeah, either before or after. I don't know.
Okay.
I know it was Memorial around that time.
The point is, we trauma block.
Yeah, and I think it's just I feel like you're feeling all these emotions because we never talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've
never heard your point of view. Or yours, Jasmine. I don't even remember what Six Flags you talking about, but
yeah, dude, we were in the car and I just looked at you and you were like not there.
Yeah,
not there. I was like,
I don't remember Six Flags. Why were we going to Six Flags?
My mom was taking.
I do remember your mom.
That was the day when my mom. Yes.
I do remember. I remember that. That's it.
But in the car, I just remember looking at you and you were just like. Not talking and just like not, but
and if I like you, I like to talk.
Yeah.
So what she's saying is she doesn't like me.
Exactly. That day I didn't like Jasmine. Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that's why I just bring a lot of emotions because we don't talk about it, and now we are, and then I just kind of like it, and you're like, oh damn, like I thought I was pretending, and I thought I was doing a good job,
Yeah.
You were doing a good job at not saying anything.
But my face and my demeanor obviously said it all.
And that's the thing, because it happened when you were going to clinicals. Remember, I told you what's wrong, because something's wrong, and she had said nothing.
But clinical,
a
what
word.
are you talking about?
When the situation happened with your professor, and I was like, hey, are you okay? It was like that day we recorded.
Oh.
And then I was like, are you okay? And then she's like, yeah. And I'm like, something happened. But then just because I'm able to tell because of your demeanor.
Are you saying recently?
Recently.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Moved it back to recent. I was like, I wasn't in clinical.
Like
no,
the anniversary
recently.
Like the anniversary?
No, the clinical thing.
Like how because I'm talking about how Linda thinks that she's able to hide certain stuff.
Gotcha.
But I don't know, like I'm able to tell, and then I end up asking her like, no, something's wrong. Like what happened?
What's going on?
Yeah.
I do tend to just shut off.
At the end of the day, I just want you to know that I'm always here for you no matter what, because we have been since we were 5, and no matter what, I may not be mentally stable all the time.
Emphasize mentally stable. So it's so funny. I was on the phone talking to Ellie last night. She was just telling me all her drama, all her business. And I'm just on the phone. She was like, yeah, because you're my therapist. I was like, I seem to be everybody's therapist. I'm like, here you guys calling me about y'all problems. Well, I gotta pay a therapist to listen to my problems.
But that's because we're not stable enough to help you with your problems.
Exactly. I'm like, y'all over here getting therapy for free, and I have to go have to hire
if I'm
someone.
being honest, like I'm not going to therapy right now, but I'm like looking like right now, even right now when we're talking about trauma block, I was like, damn, I need to find a book on that. I want to read something about that. Like
it's interesting. Yeah.
Like,
I've never read a book, but I've just heard stories. Like literally, people would lose like their whole childhood, like years, like of their life, and don't remember anything. I was like, oh wow, I'm not that way. I remember everything, but I was like, it's crazy how like your brain works.
Yeah, I know the body is insane.
Yeah,
the body's insane. That's why we take a long time to study it, to to be able to provide care
Yeah.
for people.
And we in our brain, like, going back to the brain, like we only use like 20% of our brain.
Imagine if we use the whole thing.
Some people, they adapt, they use a little bit more, like musicians maybe use a little bit more. People who speak multiple language maybe use a little bit more, but it's like your brain, you don't utilize it.
I feel like the brain is like the ocean. You know how they say like,
Oh,
like the ocean,
yeah.
like a big part of the ocean is undiscovered.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I feel like the brain is.
Yeah.
Which is scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary. But yeah, the point of this conversation was don't judge. You don't know what a person is going through.
Yeah,
Happy.
I agree.
I didn't judge. I sounds like she's going through something.
Like, what's wrong with Linda? She is
Yes.
da 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 da.
I would say that, and just having grace for people when they may not be at their best. You know?
Yeah.
Especially when you notice like a switch in them. It's like,
Yeah.
something may be going on.
Yeah.
And maybe like just asking them like if they're okay before you even decide to attack them.
Yeah. Yeah, dad's
Yeah.
teacher. Oh, she already
Yeah.
knew. She just
She already
didn't
knew.
care.
Yeah. Just for the adults, be better.
Yeah.
Just
Just
do
be
better. And also, age is not equivalent to maturity or just knowledge.
I agree with
because-
that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes Jonathan, I saw celebrating my, I don't know what party or birthday or something. I was celebrating my birthday party. He goes, girl, you're not celebrating your 21st. True that.
He's like over there hating. Yeah, and always stick up for yourself, even if it's uncomfortable, even if you have to do it with tears, because there's been many times it's like, again, I don't
Same.
like confrontation. I'm very sensitive, but even if I'm crying, I'm gonna tell you how you're making
Oh
me feel.
my gosh, saying that reminds me of a time when I was like, my manager was basically saying my manager was saying I was being insubordinate.
Oh, it's so
Yeah, and I was like,
Big words.
but I was like communicating, and I just remember crying, like trying to communicate my words, and I was trying to advocate for myself, and I was crying, but I was still like trying to communicate. That just reminded me of the time when I was like, yeah, I would say advocate for yourself, and
Yeah, and go to therapy.
Yes, go to
We
therapy.
always preach of
these
therapy.
people are tired. They're like, girl, therapy every episode.
Yeah,
But
we
doesn't it
need a
change your
therapy update episode too, because I really like my therapist. My problem is like I want to be friends. I'm like, I can see you being my friend. Like that's even though she's an older woman, but
Yeah.
I was like, I generally like her.
Pulling a Vanessa.
What happened?
It's because Vanessa has older friends. That's what I was saying.
Oh,
Oh.
no. Her friends are like, don't be calling me older.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what we had said earlier. Aren't they older?
When we say that?
Aren't Vanessa's friends older? Like they're older. They're a lot older.
Yeah, they're older.
Yeah.
But
I'm
because she's
sensitive.
mature. Vanessa's mature.
I'm mature too.
But there's boundaries.
Those are co-workers, that's why. I mean, if you're the youngest one out of your co-workers, what you gonna do?
No. Have you seen that meme where it's like me hanging out with Mr. Blah blah blah? Like he's an older gentleman. Like I mean, I've hung out with many older people because of my job too. So.
Yeah, I have. I guess like the oldest friend that I have is about 8 years older than me.
Tell me why I thought you were gonna say 80. I was like,
Oh no.
okay.
That's what we're gonna talk about back in my day.
That's funny.
Okay, guys, thanks for listening and tuning in to a potent dose of 3. I gotta go dry up these tears and blow my nose because I sound so congested right now. And I need to make an appointment with my therapist to kind of debrief of how I'm feeling.
And I'm gonna go buy a book on therapy or something related to therapy or the brain or
and trauma blocking,
Trauma blocking.
bonding, and everything else trauma.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of PD3 with your hosts Linda, Jasmine, and Kathy. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe at a potent dose of 3 so that you never miss an episode and your weekly dose.